Today, we're joined by Nicolas Sharp, the co-founder and CEO of Attio, the AI-native CRM being used by the likes of Lovable, Granola, and Moto. Attio is crushing it. They have over 5,000 paying customers, and to be frank, it's one of the most incredible stories of growth and resilience that I can't wait to share with you. So they went from being a CRM for investors in a very limited TAM to becoming one of the fastest growing CRM for builders. Now, what's a builder, you ask? Well, listen up and you'll find out. Nicolas, let's get paid.
So if you look at our logo, it is blocks. It is building blocks.
Yeah.
And so the thesis has always been builders. It's always been build the things that enable the builders. And specifically, this has not been go-to-market builders haven't been very well looked after. And you would have, you had your kind of legacy CRM system, but people in the company rarely were empowered to go and build stuff in it.
Yeah.
Right? You'd have to go and learn with programming languages and go and get certified, and it's like a really big deal to customize these systems previously.
Right.
And you just don't do it.
But wait, so Salesforce went on this path and they have like Apex code, right? And that was super complex, incredibly
Super
difficult.
complex. The idea is brilliant. I
Yeah.
mean, the idea is like,
Yep.
there is a platform that you can tailor for your business.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the superpowers is you can make it do what you want it to do.
Right.
It's going to be really difficult. It's
Right.
going to be huge capital and time investment.
Right.
But fundamentally, you can kind of solution a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so I think the idea is cool. But when we were starting to think about building Attio, things had moved on from that. It was no longer like, it's possible but difficult.
Yeah.
It had shifted to, it's possible and easy. And this was when, no code was really had really taken off.
Yeah.
You have tools like Notion,
Yeah.
and Airtable and Framer and all of these tools which put incredible building power in the browser.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you now add in LLMs and the democratization of writing code, and it's just gone exponential. We're
Interesting.
just in a totally different world now.
Interesting. And where on the other side you have HubSpot, right? And like, what were they doing about this? Like, you also can configure stuff in HubSpot because, like, in Salesforce, you can create
Anything.
anything,
Yeah.
right? Like any system of record of any
Yeah.
shape, right? And the pitch is that you can scale it, right? So like you can create a completely new object.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you can support, ticketing
Yeah.
for sports teams or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And HubSpot then came out with something similar. Like, what was the
so imagine a world where Salesforce is dominating
yeah.
because it's super configurable.
Right.
And people look at that and they think, okay, that's their strength. What's the weakness?
Right.
The weakness is it's really complicated.
Yep.
It's really expensive to implement.
Yep.
In fact, like a lot of the configurability makes the things that you don't care about configuring more complicated to use than they might need to be.
Yeah.
So the natural reaction to that is, let's focus on all of the things it's bad at.
Yeah.
Let's make it simpler. Let's make it less let's make the implementation easier.
Yeah.
Let's make it cheaper. Let's do all of these things. And so you kind of get the diametric things being built in the challenger CRMs.
Yeah.
Like the reaction, the anti-Salesforce.
Yeah.
But in doing that, you also throw out what's good about Salesforce, right? Which is the extensibility, the fact that it has like such deep ecosystem because of Apex and all of these things. And so you get this pretty stark choice. Do I want something that's going to scale and be super powerful and that's going to be highly configurable? Or do I want something that's easy to use, easy to adopt, and something I can just get going with really quickly?
Right.
And that you have to make this binary choice. And so when we started building Attio, we just, the whole, like, we thought it was just a false dichotomy. There's, why do you have to choose?
Right.
Because we've moved on, tools have moved on, technology's moved on. And we're seeing this now massively with, this has only been accelerated by LLMs, which are several layers of abstraction higher than we had previously, which means that choice is less, is less the case than it's ever been.
Interesting.
And so that's, our approach is systems, platforms in the future are going to be damn powerful,
Right.
damn scalable, but they're not going to be, they'll be much easier to use and far less complex.
But how did HubSpot not see it either? Like, what was their shortfall?
I think that they at the time that HubSpot was built, they did exactly the right thing, right? It was just built in a different time.
Yeah.
But it was like at that time, it was hard to build to do both these things at the same time.
Yeah.
And so it's, I think they did an incredible job, because remember that when HubSpot built a CRM, it really didn't feel like it was a market that was, felt so like there was just one winner and that was it.
Right.
'Cause they did an
And
incredible.
they also did not start with CRM. They started with marketing automation.
That's right.
And they throw you in the CRM for free just because you need it.
Yeah. And also they stuck with it for many years. They did what they did was really impressive. It was just built it was built for a different paradigm of software.
Interesting.
And so I think, it's a lot of this stuff comes down to timing.
Yeah. Your luck.
And luck.
Yeah. So,
Exactly.
So what would you say is your secret for taking off? There is a graveyards of people who have tried what you just did.
Yeah.
And they're all dead.
Yeah.
And there is, even a sea of other people who are trying right now to do what you do.
Yeah.
And they're not growing nearly as fast.
Yeah.
What's the unlock? Like, when did it happen? How did it
So
happen?
it's funny, we spoke. So, okay. So the real answer is that you need a few things. You need a few things to happen all at the same time. You need this kind of like Goldilocks of things to happen.
Yeah.
And so you need a moment in time when there is some kind of inflection point, some kind of shift in the tectonic plates, which means that there is an opportunity that arises, right? And so for us, for me, for you, it's LLMs.
Right.
It is a
It's like a discontinuity.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's suddenly like the way I like to the way I've heard this explained before is, imagine you're building a navy and you're building a wooden navy with sails,
Yeah.
right? And then suddenly people are building metal ships that have steam power. It doesn't matter how big your navy was before.
Right.
It's just like completely
Yeah.
useless,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you could have had 500 wooden ships.
So that's a great analogy. I'm gonna use
Okay, well, they have 2 metal ships, and it's like
they can just like grip through that.
so it's like
The wooden one.
it's just not important anymore.
Yeah.
So everyone sort of starts again.
Yeah.
And so so we're really lucky that this piece of technology we're basically in seat to build a company in this position. So you need that. Then you have to when that window opens, you've got to be in the position to seize on the opportunity.
Right.
So do you have a really great team? Can you convince great people to join you?
Yeah.
All those kind of things. And then you've just got to work damn hard. And that's a bit that you control.
Yeah.
But when the seismic event happens, that's not so much in your control, but how you.
So are you telling me that everybody else who started around you that just didn't work as hard?
No, I think we have some really good competitors. I think they're working really hard.
Okay.
I think that they, I think they seriously keep us on our toes. They make us better.
Okay.
And it's a really competitive market right now.
Yeah.
And we have the luck of having started. Again, timing is really important here.
Yeah.
We had a head start because we started before there was real conviction that this challenger CRM could be built. The first 10, 20 VCs we spoke to, we're just like, we really like you guys. This is
I love that. Yeah.
like, you seem smart.
Yeah, exactly. I love you. You're so great.
But
love your energy, but
this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
And so we started building a product early, when it really wasn't obvious that it should be done. And again, there was some luck in that.
Yeah.
And I think the luck here is that, truthfully, we didn't have a choice.
Okay.
Because at the time, we're building in London, it's a great place to build things. It's,
Yeah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. So, yeah.
It's a great place to build things, but it doesn't have the density of San Francisco, which means you're not tempted by shiny new things all the time.
Yeah.
And so once we started building, we were like, well, what else are we going to do? We're just going to
build.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And so we went through,
But you did pivot, right? You were a CRM for something else.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell that story, and then what was it, the pivoting moment?
Yeah. So that was the the pivot or the previous company led us to an understanding of the dynamics of the CRM market, which we totally missed.
Yeah.
So we started building a vertical CRM for investors.
Yep.
And our
But wait, why? Why?
so our reasoning then was the same reasoning that any challenger CRM had, which is CRMs are complicated.
Right.
They're not tailored to specific people. They're one size fits all, and nobody wants the complexity, especially not small firms,
Right.
of going to set up Salesforce.
Yep.
Right. You just don't need that.
Right.
So why don't we go and build something hyper vertical, super tailored to them, and we basically fell into all of the pitfalls of, well, we did that, but we did none of the things that Salesforce is really good at.
Right.
It wasn't extensible, wasn't particularly scalable, all
Right.
of these sorts of things. And we also had drunk the Kool-Aid of the sort of the lean startup MVP Kool-Aid.
Interesting.
And we come to market quickly
Yeah.
with a product that made money quickly, because that was our number one metric, was how quickly can we find product market fit, which means selling it to someone.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing that, we hadn't set ourselves up for long-term success at all.
Interesting.
And for the kind of product that we're trying to build, which is a platform, we learned painfully that you have to be super meditated about what you're building. And people who have been involved with or built companies will know that it takes over your life.
Mm.
And so you're sitting there
Yeah.
and it's 2 a.m. and you are building a product that you fundamentally think has a massive limit, right? And you're working as hard, and you're thinking, we could be trying to put a hotel on the moon, and we would still be working this hard. So why are we building a CRM for a market that we just don't think is very exciting or very big?
Yeah.
And at the same time,
But wait, when was that aha moment? Because like you didn't have that aha moment when you started, right? When you started, it was like massive, everybody's an investor, cater to angels, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
And-
when we
and-
started, we just got totally caught up in the like, we should just get into the product. Let's validate it by getting it to market. Let's see if people buy it. And then the problem is that we had enough success there that we felt super trapped. Because now we had people asking for feature requests. They were paying. They were doing all of these things.
Yeah, that nobody else wanted, right?
Yeah. So then we're like, well, we've really put ourselves in a bad spot here.
Yeah.
And so the only option really was just to completely start again.
Mm.
And that was that's a difficult thing to do. And we got to a sort of crisis point where we're like, well, this is it. We just gotta do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was that before 2022 or after 2022?
That was very, very end of 2019.
Okay.
So we started, that was like the November or December of 2019.
Okay. So OpenAI hasn't shipped anything at this point, or nothing.
No,
consequence.
I think
So like, what was the AI angle?
so at that time it was the angle was, we had learned that these tools need to be scalable. We had done what we had built into the product, which worked really well, is even without LLMs, we were using data streams to do automation.
Mm.
So we were ingesting all emails, we were doing automatic data enrichment, all of these things, all of these reminders, using very classical techniques.
Yeah. So you guys were like the relate IQ then.
Yeah, it's a similar kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
And so we had all of these things that that we were doing, all of these ideas. But the fundamental thing was, when we started building Attio, it was, let's not make these trade-offs between the scalable, data-heavy, customizable system and the nice-to-use, easy-to-adopt system.
Yeah.
Let's scrap those kind of constraints.
Right.
And let's build something that bridges that gap.
Right.
Very shortly afterwards, we started playing around with LLMs, and I can remember actually in our office the very original OpenAI interface, where it was no chat bubbles, but just a big input,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd have your prompt, and then it would generate the next section, and you would write underneath it and generate.
Yeah.
Then we started playing around with these things, and luckily we were, again, luck, but we were building this foundation which was just perfect for it.
Right.
And in many ways, it's like products like Replit, for example, which they've been working on Replit for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
And you just happen to be building a cloud-based IDE
Yeah.
with a full developer environment, and then LLMs come along.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, our vision for democratizing writing code
Yeah.
is suddenly just being given the biggest boost possible.
Yeah.
And we sort of felt like that, which is like our vision for building this highly automated, highly scalable, configurable,
Yeah.
easy to use CRM has just been given the biggest opportunity ever.
So who was your North Star customer? So the moment you said, I'm going to ditch this whole investor thing and I'm going to go after a different type of persona, right?
Yeah.
Who is that hero?
So what we wanted to do is we wanted to work again in this ethos of we believed in builders. We believed in giving people these tools to build for go-to-market.
Right.
And so the people that we started seeking out initially, and still very much do to, in the most part, are these fast-growing technology companies, startups that have a real builder DNA and ethos built in. And this is something that we've just seen an incredible acceleration of in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And you see now the scale of company people are building with the revenue per head count just in a different league to previous generations of companies.
Yeah.
And that's because so much more can be automated. PLG is sort of the default now.
Right.
And
But was there
companies-
like a person or like a company, a customer, like somebody who
Yeah.
like made you see this difference and you'd be like, shit, that's where it needs to go. And then you found more of it. Like,
Yeah, so the original set of people that originally we were working the product for a long time in
Yeah.
sort of isolation, and then I got introduced to this guy called Tamor, who we had a mutual seed investor or pre-seed investor,
Yeah.
and he had worked at Retool
Mhm.
and sort of really understood that mindset, and I was like, hey, listen, we're running this alpha of this product. We've got like 10 users. Will you try it? And he sent me back a Notion document of like 3 pages of feedback. And it was
That's
amazing,
amazing. What a gift.
amazing feedback.
Wow.
And the feedback that he gave me just this like gave me it gave us real conviction that he understood that what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because the feedback wasn't, I wish that this just worked. Like the feedback was, I wish I could do more here. I wish this could be like, why does this not allow me to add a filter? Why does, and it was really like this is all
That's
trying to,
amazing. That's amazing when that happens. That's like a gift.
yeah.
Okay, so like you got that guy,
So we
and
got that
then
guy.
and then what? And then what happens?
And then we started finding more people like Tamor.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point we put up a website. We had a Twitter account.
Yeah.
And we put up a wait list, and we then started getting people signing up on the wait list.
Yeah.
And we would onboard them by hand, basically.
Right.
And so we
Kind of like superhuman style.
Yeah, so we would So we would get on calls, we would onboard them. It was, the self-serve experience at that point was rough. So we would watch people go through it to make sure that we were improving it, all that kind of stuff. And then we just ramped this up until we got to a mixture of metrics that we thought were good enough to go general access.
Yeah.
And also, that's one side of it. The other side of it is we're now starting to feel a lot of pressure just to be in market. And that's by yourself. So you're kind of, you have this, you have conviction, and your conviction can take you a very long way.
Yeah.
But at some point you need to have some kind of validation. At some point we're like, well, we need real validation here.
Yeah.
And validation of hand onboarded beta testers who aren't paying us isn't cutting it.
100%.
We need dollars.
Yeah.
And then there's also a momentum question, and you can keep the team motivated for a really long time, again, on vision, but you need the next phase of momentum. You need the next phase of energy and excitement.
Yeah.
And we needed to be running a production product as well.
Mm.
Because the other thing is, a lot of what Attio does is huge amounts of data ingestion. And a lot of what we're very good at is doing that at scale.
Yeah.
And so now we ingest tens of millions of emails a day, and it's really fine. They all come in within seconds. It's a brilliant experience.
Yeah.
The first time we ever did it, it took us 3 days to sync an inbox. So, the delta is massive.
Yeah.
And you can't do that until you start feeling the pain and
Yeah.
the scale.
So do you consider yourself a new class of SaaS? Like, are you part of like a completely new cohort that sees the world differently? You mentioned Notion, you mentioned Airtable, like in linear.
Yeah, I think so. And I think I think on a couple of different axes, because I think the other interesting thing is products are being built differently.
Yeah.
But I think what's also interesting is that companies are being built differently.
Mm.
And it's something that we talk about a lot. Is that the benchmarks, the expectations, the playbooks that existed have to be relitigated.
Yeah.
And you can't take them at face value. You
Right,
really
right.
have to think, like, has this changed? Is this still the right way to do things?
Interesting.
And we think about this across the board. We think about this when we're building, revenue teams, when we're building about support, when we're thinking about anything, hiring, and then the building product. That's a whole different question, because again, today we were in our design crit this morning. It's one of my favorite meetings of the week. And we're going through all the stuff that we're working on, and almost everything that we're designing are patterns or UIs that is uncharted, novel territory. And so you can't just say the best practice is to do this.
Yeah.
Right.
So like what?
Because-
Like give me an example.
Okay, so an example, a really good example of this is when you have an agent that's doing work inside of your product. How do you what's your play pause button for that? How do you take control temporarily, do something,
Yeah.
cede control back?
Yeah.
All of these kind of things are, there's lots of ideas, right? We could come up with 5 great ideas now, but we don't.
But there was a pattern already, right? Like Claude does that, and so does OpenAI. Right?
It's sort of. I mean, Claude does it in like Claude Code pretty well. It does it in its sort of linear interface quite well.
Yeah.
But when you're working across something that's like multi-channel, that's not a linear flow,
Yeah.
it's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
And we just don't yet know exactly where we're going to end up here.
Yeah.
And you see it even in you see. Eventually, the industry will converge on patterns, which users understand, paradigms users understand, etc. But it just doesn't. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And that's exciting. It's an exciting.
Yeah. Wait, do you prefer it this way? You prefer like to be handed a playbook?
Way prefer it this way.
Yeah.
It's much more creative.
Yeah.
And the irony is that you start a software company because you want to build things and write code and design, and you spend like most of your time not doing that.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're in building in this time is like, it's exactly what you want to be doing. It's really exciting.
Interesting. So how do you future-proof yourself? Like you did one up to everybody else, right? By coming up with like a new paradigm of how everything is going. But now, like, I don't even understand what a CRM would be in 2-3 years.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, and like, I geek out about this stuff a lot. Like, if you look at a sales, what is a sales process, right? So a sales process is a continuous conversation that expands over a number of people, right? With an outcome in mind.
Yeah.
Right. And what you want to know is like, what are the meaningful milestones in the middle that you can sort of hold yourself accountable, so that you can measure across reps and you can measure across deals, and B, you know that you're heading in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
Those are called opportunity stages.
Yeah.
And like, is that the future? Like, we've been working like this for like since Siebel.
But
See what I mean? Like,
exactly. And a lot of this is this way because it was designed to be, it was designed for a world where humans didn't just do the selling, but they also did the maintenance of the data.
Correct.
And so you have to build a system which is usable by someone, right?
Yeah.
So there has to be, you have to create certain, you have to have stages,
Right.
so that someone can map their progress to a stage.
Right.
Otherwise, how do they communicate that?
Right.
And
But it was also part of the playbook, right? Like the stage belonged to like a bunch of X criteria
sure.
to like, you did it, so hence you're in the stage X.
Yeah. But again, it's to create uniformity, to
Correct.
maximize chance of success,
100%.
to make training easier, etc.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you might have a really good salesperson who, left to their own devices, if you just said you're absolutely excellent, they would probably do better if they didn't have to follow the stages exactly. If they're really good, I'm not talking.
Matter of fact, like the top 20% of reps that deliver 80% of number, they do things their own way.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that system is designed to keep everyone within a bound,
Yeah.
but it's not designed to give the best performing people ultimate freedom.
Right.
And so the interesting thing for us is, well, what does it look like if the data that reps are getting, if the sort of assistance or even like, the full cycle thing is handled by AI, what does that look like?
Right.
And we think it looks kind of different.
Right.
It's less important that you have these very linear flows. And actually, the way that people buy things now is also changing massively. You don't have this clean come into top of funnel, go through a process, get the good.
Yeah.
You have people who might sign up on their Gmail
Yeah.
and then just to test it out, and then say, okay, I'm gonna use my company card now and invite a couple of people.
Right.
And then I'll self-serve that.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk to support. But please don't put me in touch with sales yet. And then, okay, now I need to upgrade. So I do want to talk to sales.
Yeah.
And it's also all
Yeah,
into
it's
the
beyond
boundary.
this. Right.
And again, to do that really well, you can't, it's like a non-linear flow.
Right.
And so with all of that in mind, what we think about is, how do we make sure we capture all of this?
Yeah.
So we have full context. Again, when you're doing automation, if you're missing one of these pieces, you're not going to be able to do automation well.
Right.
If you miss the call, if you don't have the email, if you don't have the product data,
Yeah.
you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And so we build a lot of systems for ingestion.
Yeah.
And that's why sort of scale is really important.
Right.
The more data you have, the better it's going to be,
Right.
etc. And then we build systems for automation. And so that is, number one is automating data entry entirely. I mean, that is, it's a big system for ingesting all the data. So
Right.
we want to remove, we don't want previously people had to be the LLM. They went on the call, they listened, they read the email, and then it's like, summarize, input.
Yeah.
We can get rid of that. So you want to capture super high resolution data. You want to do all the inference to create the actionable data on top of it.
Right.
And then you want to build the systems which allow people to define how their business works. So this is how we talk about our product. This is how we sell. This is how we do all of these things. These are our guardrails and these are our policies, etc.
Yeah.
And so that's where we think CRM goes over the next couple of years.
Interesting.
And it's fun.
So what do you do with all this, like old sellers, old sales ops, all this like, crew of people who have been trained on the old school of CRM, and like they need to be retrained, and like this is probably a bigger hurdle.
They have to be, in many ways, they have to be retrained, but in many ways, they now, their job is to do what they were good at, which is nobody enjoyed having a 1 hour slot to fill in CRMs or whatever.
Right.
That's like, if we take that away, that's just a net positive, right?
Yep.
And so,
but that CRM is not bought by the sellers; it's bought by somebody in ops and somebody by CRO. So like, how do you get them to see the light of the new world?
I think what's interesting is that we are finding that there is this new, the people that are in those roles now, are much more in the mindset of, they're less rigid in, I'm just going to buy the tool that I know. It's just going to, their mindset is really shifted, and it's shifted massively, even in the short time that we've been doing Attio.
Yeah.
In the last year, last 6 months, we've seen an acceleration of this shift, and people are asking different questions now. They're asking, how can I be the most cutting edge? How can I be the most efficient? How can I build the best systems?
Yeah.
And we're finding that the people in the seat making these buying decisions now are approaching the problem in that way.
Yeah.
And there's much less just, the world of software and technology and startup building has changed so much that everyone assumes that the old way has to be relitigated.
Interesting.
That feels like the baseline
Interesting.
position. And I know, for example, that when we go and buy software now,
Yeah.
if I was speaking to a software engineer, or if I was speaking to anyone on the team, and they said, I want to use a tool from 20 years ago,
Yeah.
like that's insane.
Like why?
This is concerning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're definitely and we're definitely seeing that amongst our customers, that they really want, just they have an insatiable appetite for power
Yeah.
and customization, and they really want to build stuff.
Yeah. So you use LaunchDev Marketplace, right?
Yeah.
So what are you bringing into the CRM third-party applications that were not available before, that are making Attio a completely different beast
Yeah.
post Marketplace?
Yeah. So a few things, and there are actually the marketplace is an aspect of it, but more broadly, we'll talk about this as being ecosystem extensibility.
Yeah.
One aspect is you want a marketplace of integrations and of functionality to add to Attio.
Mm-hmm.
So CRMs are massive products, and what we really wanted to avoid was getting into this battle of building long tail features.
Mm. Like what?
Because
Like, give me an example.
so an example might be, I really want a feature that pulls in the latest tweet from a prospect, so that when I get on a call, I have an icebreaker.
Yeah.
Or it might be, I want a feature that calculates sales tax for the Portuguese market.
Yeah.
Or there's this huge long tail thing, which each business will have a couple of these, right? They
Yeah.
have specific needs.
Mhm.
They use paid, or they use another product, and they want the data to be there. They use DocuSign, they use PandaDoc, whatever. And so it's a death march to try and build it all.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to build is a system that allows other people to build on top of Attio,
Yeah.
provide the same level of experience. It feels like a first party thing.
Yeah.
So it's about getting data in,
Yeah.
and it's about making sure that the functionality that you need to do your long tail of things, which are really specific to your business,
Yeah.
can happen inside of Attio. That's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is, I really believe that configuration, customization in the future will be largely code defined.
Mm.
And no code, which is complicated UIs to go and configure things that you have to learn, etc., will go. And what you'll have instead is you will use an LLM to do the configuration. You'll see the changes happening in real time.
Right.
You'll manipulate them, etc. But you don't need to learn any kind of complex UIs, etc.
Right.
So the way that works in Attio now, the way that what we launched last week, and what we're building now, is the ability for you to run code that modifies the product, that adds new functionality, that changes the way it works.
Yeah, interesting.
And
Like, when you say run code, what kind of code?
JavaScript. And so the JavaScript is generated by LLMs. You can prompt it, but you can now actually customize the CRM with JavaScript that you haven't written yourself, that you can just run around.
Right.
But that is the ultimate, that's a lot of power you have now.
Interesting.
Because you're not constrained by the UI that we build, or the things that you're constrained by the language.
Right.
And that, that's not very constrained right
No,
now.
I think it's beautiful, but who asked for it, and who's gonna pay for it? And are you gonna charge more? Like, what? How? Like, this is a lot of work, right? Like, so who's paying for that?
It's a lot of work, but you don't pay for it. So it's part of. We released it to all of our customers. It's included in the price that they pay.
Okay.
And it is. I think it's just, I think we're maybe a bit ahead of where the market is, but I'm pretty sure this is where the market's going.
Okay, so nobody asked for it, and you're betting that that's where the market's
People
going.
ask for lots more configuration, lots more power, lots more integrations. They ask for all of these things.
Yeah.
And instead of going to say, okay, we have 5 requests, and tomorrow we'll have another 5, and the day after another 5, and it's just an endless thing. We're like, well, what they're really asking for is, I have a set of a problem specific to me.
Right.
Fix them.
Yep.
And so how do we do that?
Right.
How do we do that when lots of people share the same core problem?
Right.
They want to build an incredible customer experience. They want to build, so that's a shared problem. But the specifics of how they do that is highly individual.
Got it.
And so what we're now doing is saying like, great, when these things come up, you can make them go away.
Got it.
There's a lot of CRMs.
Yeah.
But when people come to us and they say, we're a PLG business, it's really important that we are able to, that we have product signals in our pipeline.
Yeah.
We want to actually build automations that tell us when someone's a PQL.
Yeah.
And hey, this is our definition of a PQL, etc. And then I want to build renewal reminders. And I want to do, when someone signs up, I want a research agent to go and research them and qualify them.
Yeah.
And then want to send a scheduling email, all of these things. So when people come to us and they have this, they're like, I want to do all this stuff. We're like, well, you've come to the right place.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So let's talk about how you get paid. So the question that I had for you, and I had for everybody who is sort of like seat-based, is how do you grow in a world where, your customers are trying to be the largest, smallest company in the planet, right?
Yeah.
So like they don't want to pay for a ton of seats.
Yeah.
They don't actually need a lot of seats.
Yeah.
So how do you expand? How do you grow? How do you stay on top of your revenue?
So we have two axes to our pricing.
Yeah.
Which is we have seat-based and we have consumption-based.
Yeah.
The reason that we have both is because we still think that, especially when people are new to a product, when they haven't quite worked out exactly how much of it they'll need, etc., they want to be able to just pay a sticker price and feel like that's going to give them enough to get pretty far.
Yep.
And so they want to sit down and say, it's the same, it's the same as you use Cursor. It's $20.
Right.
Right. And now that's not it. There's then credits and you'll run out and whatever. But if you are curious about Cursor and you sit down, you know that's what it's going to cost you, and you can get very far.
Yeah.
And so with Attio, it's similar, which is we have a sticker price for a seat that's going to get you pretty far.
Yep.
Now, when your company is doing really, really well and you have done a lot of building in Attio and it is powering your go-to-market system, tons of automations, tons of data ingestion, etc., that's when you'll want to, and you want to automate more. That's when you go into the second axis, which is consumption.
Credits. Yeah.
Credits. Exactly.
Yeah. And are the credits, I know they're for automation, you're thinking about, a data play as well.
Yeah.
Like what is a credit worth? Because credits are all the same right now, right?
Yeah. So a credit is a relatively arbitrary unit at the moment. So it's not linked to an outcome.
Right.
It's linked to work done.
Yeah.
The difficult thing in a system, in a sort of open loop system like a CRM, is that we don't have a neat unit for outcomes.
Yep.
Because a deal is worth vastly different amounts to different people.
Right.
There are Attio's configuration, customization allows you to do things like, just invent your entirely own pipelines, do customer success pipelines, do onboarding pipelines, whatever you want.
Right.
And so we think a bit more about, what work are we saving you? So we think about the work done rather than the outcome.
Got it. And what percentage of your customers are consuming credits, and like, how much of your revenue is revenue based on credits versus seats?
It's growing really well, actually. We're still primarily seat-based.
Got it.
But I think in the next sort of 12 to 18 months, we're going to see we'll see that starting to change.
Interesting. Is it because of the marketplace or because of a new offering? Like what's making it? Or is people just like getting to the limit of what they can
Yeah,
use?
but also I think it's because our automation products just keep getting better.
Got it.
So we have some very, very big launches in this area in the next couple of months.
Got it.
And I think every time we release more capability, we see better adoption.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that the mindset of the market is changing.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of pricing is also about pricing correctly for the market.
Mm.
And so you can say this is a purer, better way to do it.
Right.
But if the market doesn't think like that, doesn't want it,
Right.
then
Then what's the point, right?
there was an example. I don't know if you saw this, but BMW basically did a release for heated seats, where heated seats when you buy the car is like a $500 option or whatever.
Yeah.
And they said, no, it's now $10 a month. And
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
if you did the math,
Yeah.
over the course of your lease, it was pretty much the same price, or maybe less.
Yeah.
But it was not some, it wasn't some huge uptake or something.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing. But consumers went nuts. They completely rejected it and said,
Just fun.
like, I just want to pay upfront. I want it to work forever.
Right.
Don't charge me per month for that.
That's funny.
And they also charged for CarPlay, which they had to roll back.
Right.
It was a subscription.
Yeah.
But the market just wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, that's the thing about pricing.
And it wasn't rational. It was just
Emotional. Yeah.
And we're still people still like.
But with all due respect, you're not BMW yet. Like nobody's gonna have a cow. You know what I mean? Like
They're not. But they might also just say that they're not. But what I'm saying is like they might just look at that and be like, that's unintuitive to me. I'm not
right.
ready for.
But you don't want to know that because your entry price is still per seat. You see what I mean? So
that's the bit. Yeah.
So you still can do all sorts of things inside of the box.
But that's right, exactly. But we want to give people this kind of reliable, easy to understand sticker price.
Yeah.
But then the option when it gets, when they really, really start doing, start getting stuck in, we want to give them the option to scale that.
Got it.
And that's where the consumption comes.
Got it. All right. Last thing before we let you go.
Yeah.
Building in London.
Yes.
All your investors are from the US, at least the big ones, the ones that wrote big checks, right?
Yeah.
You were telling me this story. I want to tell you the audience that you will get this once a week of like, when are you moving to the US?
Yeah.
When are you moving to the US? And then it stopped.
Yeah.
Tell everyone what happened and why did it stop?
I think it stopped because for a few reasons. One is I think people saw the quality of talent. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Is that when you start seeing the depth of the talent and the and how well we were able to hire, I think that all of those concerns went away, and those are the primary concerns.
Right. But you were crushing it at the very beginning too. So like, at what point did it flip the bit?
But it's like at the beginning it's different, because at the beginning it's inexperienced but kind of hardworking people who are scrappily have just got it to this point.
Right.
You've just somehow
He's crossed over. Yeah.
But then things start to shift.
Yeah.
Like you need to start hiring a different type of person.
Yeah. You told me that you're mostly senior engineers, right?
Yeah. And then the other thing that really changed is that I think that America's our biggest market, and it's that for many, many reasons, it is super important for us.
Yeah.
And the other thing that changed is that we were able to hire in America super well as well. And the interplay between those things worked way better than anyone had expected.
So what's the key to hire well in America when you're a UK-based company?
So the key is, I think it's very, very similar to any hiring, which is you've got to all of the normal things you have to do, but then the really important things you have to be there. And so I spent a lot of time there. And you win a candidate by going to see them.
Yeah.
And you go for coffee, you go for dinner, you do all of these things. And so that's important. And so now what we have is our executive team split between San Francisco and London.
Yeah.
So we have CTO, VP of engineering, VP of marketing in London. And then we have COO and VP of sales in San Francisco.
Got it.
But we spent a lot of time together as an executive team.
Got it.
So I'm going to San Francisco in 2 days' time. They've just been in London a couple of weeks ago. And so we're in person at least a week a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So I go to San Francisco probably every 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then equally they spend, they're in London, let's say 4 or 5 times a year.
That's amazing.
So we spend a lot of time together in person. So we actually started to get to the place where we feel like we're actually in a really good spot because we take advantage of the talent in both areas.
Yeah.
We have very close to around follow the sun coverage of almost everything.
Right.
And so the company feels quite 24 hours.
Right.
And we have 500 million people in Europe, 350 million people in the US. It's a really big talent pool.
Right.
And so it started to be, at the beginning, it felt like, this is going to be difficult. This is going to slow us down. But now I actually think that it's a really
They got the
exciting
unlock.
time.
Is there any non-obvious hire in the US that you made that
In the US?
yeah, in the US? Because in the UK, like you were UK headquarters, so you made the bulk of your hiring here.
I think that
But then you went into the US.
the non-obvious hire was hiring a COO
Okay.
in the US.
Say more.
Because that's not where the company's headquarters is.
Right.
So hiring a COO somewhere else. But actually what it did is it gave such heft to our US presence. And Holly, our COO, is incredible.
Right.
She's just the most wonderful person. And she was, we talk about inflection point. She was an inflection point.
Interesting.
And
Well, that's not a normal hire at your stage. Why would you hire a COO?
no, it wasn't.
It was like a luxury.
No, we wanted to. So really, it was about Holly. We didn't go to hire a COO.
Yeah.
I met Holly, and
There you go.
And I started chatting.
I was like, I'll make up a job for you. Like
I wanted to give her a job that had massive scope across all parts of the company.
Yeah.
So that she was empowered to go and do things.
Yeah.
And wasn't pigeonholed to like, oh, she does this one column.
So wait, what does a CEO do that is not go to market? What else is there?
There's everything from talent to product strategy to, I mean, all of go to market. It's everything that I work on essentially as well.
Okay.
Holly essentially works on all sorts of different areas of the business.
Got it.
And so I wanted to give her a title that was reflective of the scope.
Yeah.
And it's worked really, really well.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It is, she was one of those really big inflection
So it seems like that's the unlock, right? Like bring somebody with heft, put them in the US, build a team around it, and you can call that a second.
Yeah, and it was so when,
as opposed to just putting like a VP of sales in the US, which is what most people do,
Yeah.
right?
And also the other thing is that when we hired Holly, it felt, firstly, I was just shocked that she was willing to join. That was the first thing, because she joined so early, and we hadn't launched. We were, we were a few people in London trying to build a CRM, trying to take on Salesforce.
Yeah.
And it was a nuts, audacious plan. And it was very non-obvious at that point. And Holly's a really accomplished hardcore person who's like
That's
very,
amazing.
very capable. And so that was a really big unlock. It was a really big unlock for our whole US presence. We went to San Francisco for the first time after we started Attio. So I'd never been before Attio, and just like getting on the ground and Holly being there. And we got in her car. She showed us around. She like, and it was, and it was like, we arrived and we were like, okay, well, this is a really big advantage.
Right.
This is great.
That's amazing.
We had the same actually with our Redpoint, who are our first US investors.
Yeah.
They were just incredible, in that regard.
Yeah.
They just like, they gave us such a leg up.
But they were the ones making the call of like, hey, when you're moving to the US, when are you moving to the US, right?
Yeah, so they were pretty keen initially, but I think that again now they're really supportive, and actually they've made a ton of really great investments in London. So
Interesting.
So since then
they're in Gradient, I think.
Yeah.
They're in the field.
But they've made a couple of really great investments in London. They spend a lot of time here.
All right, Nicolas, this is amazing. Thank you again for coming to our studio right here and do this in person. Now, if you like this podcast and you like our podcast before, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your fix.